You thought you knew Aaron Pierre? Think again. Just when fans believed this was just another celebrity love triangle, Aaron dropped a bomb that's shaking the entertainment world to its core. A secret agreement between Teyana Taylor and Brandon Jennings. Yes, you heard that right. A private, behind-the-scenes pact that nobody was supposed to see, until Aaron did. And the reaction? Let's just say it wasn't tears, it was fire. Imagine finding out the people you trusted. The faces you cheered for were playing a game you didn't even know existed. Why would Brandon, the NBA's golden boy on the court, make moves that contradict everything he preaches in public? And Teyana, the queen of choreography and flawless Instagram posts, hiding a deal so shocking it could rewrite her entire narrative? Fans are losing it. Social media is erupting. Clips are resurfacing. Leaks are everywhere. And Aaron? He's staring at the chaos like the rest of us, except he's holding receipts. So, what really happened behind closed doors? Was this a personal betrayal? A PR stunt? Or something far more calculated? Buckle up, because today we're peeling back every layer of this scandal, and trust me, you won't believe your eyes. Aaron Pierre has always been the calm eye in the storm of celebrity chaos. The guy fans thought had seen it all, and yet, nothing could have prepared him for the revelation that hit him like a sledgehammer. It started innocuously enough, or at least that's what Aaron thought. A casual scroll through social feeds, a few whispers from sources he trusted, little things that seemed harmless on the surface. But then the pieces started to fall into place like a puzzle deliberately left for him to find. What Aaron stumbled upon wasn't just a private conversation or a cheeky comment on Instagram. It was a meticulously crafted, behind-the-scenes agreement between Teyana Taylor and Brandon Jennings. And not just any agreement. One so calculated, so surgically precise in its design, that it seemed to redefine everything fans thought they knew about both of them for months. Aaron had watched the duo from a distance, noting patterns, collecting mental receipts. He'd seen Teyana's perfectly timed posts, the subtle nods in interviews, the way Brandon would speak in public about loyalty, family values, and honesty, all the things the public wanted to hear. But in private, the narrative was wildly different. The agreement he uncovered suggested that what everyone saw on the surface was carefully curated, a performance, a narrative constructed to benefit certain people while keeping others in the dark. Aaron wasn't just shocked, he was enraged. The betrayal wasn't emotional. It wasn't petty. It was tactical, businesslike, and almost surgical in its execution. The details of this alleged pact are nothing short of scandalous. Sources close to the pair, who spoke under strict anonymity, confirmed that the agreement included clauses that dictated behavior, public statements, and even who could be seen with whom in public appearances. There were mentions of brand alignments, sponsorship deals, and financial incentives tied directly to public perception. According to these insiders, the pact wasn't about love, trust, or even personal connection. It was about control, power, and manipulating the narrative to their advantage. Imagine the NBA world, the music world, and social media all colliding in one secretive, high-stakes chess game, and Aaron Pierre somehow being the one who caught the first glimpse behind the curtain. Fans, of course, had their theories. There were whispers of tension, fleeting screenshots of text messages, and videos that didn't make sense until this context was revealed. Social media users had been piecing together what they thought were coincidences, Brandon's sudden disappearances from high-profile events, Teyana's cryptic captions about loyalty, and both of them posting seemingly unrelated content that, in hindsight, pointed to a coordinated effort to obscure the truth. Aaron, armed with this secret agreement, began connecting dots that nobody else could see. The pattern was unmistakable. He realized the calm, polished image that the duo projected publicly was a mask hiding layers of manipulation, personal agendas, and strategic decisions that went far beyond what fans had assumed. It didn't help that past incidents only made the revelation more explosive. Teyana Taylor has a history of making headlines for perfectly choreographed PR moments. Moments that often felt authentic to fans until the backstory emerged. She's been caught in controversies before, minor disputes with collaborators, leaked messages hinting at behind-the-scenes friction, but none of those incidents prepared anyone for something this large, this deliberate. Brandon Jennings, on the other hand, had cultivated a reputation as the golden boy athlete, disciplined, charming, and publicly loyal. Yet even he had moments that didn't quite add up. There were past reports of closed-door conflicts with teammates, subtle media misdirections, and unexplained absences from charity events or fan meetups. Taken together, these prior behaviors created a foundation that made Aaron's discovery feel almost inevitable, like the inevitable explosion after the pressure has been building unseen for months. Aaron's reaction was a study in controlled fury. He didn't scream, he didn't publicly rage, and he didn't post the information immediately. Instead, he approached it like an investigator, meticulously verifying every detail, cross-referencing messages, timelines, and witness accounts. One source close to Aaron revealed he was shaking, but not out of anger. It was disbelief, like he had been handed the key to a room no one wanted him to enter. And the more he dug, the more layers he uncovered. The agreement wasn't static. It was dynamic, designed to evolve with public perception, media narratives, and fan engagement. Clauses would activate based on trending topics, sponsorship opportunities, or public sentiment. In short, it was a living, breathing strategy, and Aaron had inadvertently become the first person to expose its skeleton. Fans watching Aaron's subtle online reactions noticed changes too. The once approachable, casual interactions became measured. Comments were precise, posts were intentional, and his tone suggested that he was sitting on knowledge too volatile to casually share. This naturally ignited speculation. Could Aaron be hiding something? Was he about to drop a bomb? Or was he, in fact, privy to a conspiracy that nobody else could see? Social media lit up with theories ranging from plausible to completely outlandish, but Aaron remained silent, letting the tension build, letting the curiosity marinate until the right moment. It was as if he understood that the fallout would be so explosive. It needed to be handled with care or risk collateral damage to reputations, careers, and the fans' perception of reality. Meanwhile, public perception of Teyana and Brandon began to shift subtly, even without official statements. Fans started noticing the inconsistencies. Brandon's public statements about integrity versus private actions that seemed to contradict them. Teyana's curated Instagram stories that now seemed cryptically coded. Every like, every comment, every tagged post was scrutinized, dissected, and fed into the rumor mill. Analysts, armchair detectives, and social media personalities began theorizing about timelines, questioning past interviews, and analyzing facial expressions from old clips for signs of deceit. The revelation of the secret agreement didn't just shock Aaron, it rippled through the entire digital ecosystem that thrives on celebrity transparency, trust, and gossip. Aaron's discovery also raised uncomfortable questions about the nature of privacy, consent, and public image. Was it fair to hold Teyana and Brandon accountable for something intended to be private? Or was the issue that this private maneuver had real-world implications, affecting Aaron directly, along with fans, brands, and other associates? The lines blurred, and Aaron found himself navigating not only the moral labyrinth of personal betrayal, but also the logistical nightmare of timing, evidence, and potential exposure. Every move he considered had to account for leaks, interpretations, and reactions from both the public and insiders who had a vested interest in maintaining the illusion. The first reactions from Aaron's closest circle were telling. Friends who had witnessed his subtle distress described him as unusually quiet, almost calculating. One confidant stated, "Aaron wasn't angry in the way people expect. He was thinking 3 steps ahead. Like a chess master who just realized the board has more pieces than anyone knew existed." This strategic patience only heightened the suspense. The world outside had no idea the storm was brewing. Meanwhile, Aaron began meticulously cataloging every shred of evidence, from time-stamped messages to subtle patterns in public appearances, constructing a comprehensive record that could withstand scrutiny, ridicule, or disbelief. And yet, for all the preparation, Aaron couldn't help but feel the sting of betrayal, not personal betrayal in the conventional sense, but the betrayal of truth, the betrayal of transparency. It wasn't about romantic entanglements or fan theories anymore. It was about the audacity of orchestrating a narrative that manipulated perception while keeping critical players in the dark. The sheer scale of the planning, the level of detail, and the cold precision were staggering. And for Aaron, who had always prided himself on being able to read between the lines, this was different. This was a masterclass in deception, and he had inadvertently been given front row seats. As the hours turned into days, Aaron's subtle public cues began stirring a new wave of speculation. Tweets, Instagram comments, and carefully worded stories became riddled with fans interpreting them as coded messages. Everyone wanted to know, what did Aaron know, and how soon would he reveal it? The internet, of course, immediately went into overdrive. Memes were created. Conspiracy threads multiplied. Analysts tried to reconstruct timelines. Every social media footprint from Teyana and Brandon that had once seemed innocuous now carried weighty implications. And through it all, Aaron remained measured, letting the anticipation grow, setting the stage for a revelation that could redefine reputations. And that's when it became clear. This wasn't just another celebrity scandal. This was a carefully orchestrated exposure, a slow burn designed to maximize impact. And Aaron had become both the witness and the catalyst. The secret agreement between Teyana Taylor and Brandon Jennings wasn't just a document. It was the trigger for a chain reaction that could redefine trust, fan loyalty, and public perception. And the best or worst this video? The world had only seen the tip of the iceberg. Every screenshot, every message, every cryptic post was now part of a larger puzzle. The puzzle Aaron was starting to piece together with surgical precision, and just as the tension reached a fever pitch, as the anticipation in Aaron's circles began to tip into full-blown frenzy, he made a decision. A decision that would shock fans even further. That would set the stage for leaks, reactions, and consequences so dramatic that no one in the public eye would ever look at Teyana, Brandon, or Aaron the same way again. But before we get into that explosive fallout, let's take a closer look at exactly what this agreement entailed, how the public began reacting, and just how deep the rabbit hole goes. Because the story is far from over, and trust me, you'll want to see every detail as it unfolds. So, what exactly was in that secret agreement that Aaron Pierre stumbled upon? Let's peel back the layers, because the deeper you look, the more outrageous this becomes. Sources close to the matter anonymous naturally, because nobody sane would put their name on this described clauses so meticulous, so strategically designed, that it almost reads like a corporate merger rather than a personal arrangement. Teyana and Brandon weren't just coordinating schedules or public appearances. Oh no, it went far beyond that. Every post, every social interaction, even every subtle nod in interviews was scripted, timed, and tied to specific outcomes. Social media engagement thresholds were literally written into the agreement. If public sentiment drops below X, post content Y within Z hours. It's like they hired a PR firm, not a life partner. Aaron's first realization was that this wasn't about him personally, but he immediately recognized how much damage it could cause if it ever went public. He saw the blueprint for a narrative manipulation machine, one designed to keep the audience blind, keep sponsors happy, and maintain an illusion of authenticity. Sources claim the agreement included sections on financial incentives to bonuses if certain social media metrics were met, penalties for any off-script behavior, and even clauses dictating who could be tagged in posts. It wasn't romantic. It was corporate control disguised as personal life, and the leaks? Oh, the leaks were delicious. Screenshots of direct messages between Teyana and Brandon, timestamped with suspicious precision, revealed the inner workings. One anonymous source told us, it was almost laughable how meticulously they planned each reaction. Brandon even suggested rehearsing responses in case a fan asked the wrong question during a live stream. Aaron, seeing this unfold, described it as unsettling, like watching a reality show unfold behind the scenes, but knowing it's all being orchestrated. Fans immediately started noticing inconsistencies in Brandon and Teyana's behavior that previously went unnoticed. Brandon's public proclamations about loyalty and honesty now seemed like rehearsed lines rather than genuine statements. Teyana's Instagram captions, once interpreted as personal reflections, suddenly looked coded, almost like warnings or signals to insiders. Reddit threads exploded. Twitter erupted with fan theories, memes, and heated debates. Clips from interviews and behind-the-scenes footage were dissected frame by frame. Every raised eyebrow, every subtle hesitation, every barely noticeable look at the camera was being interpreted as evidence of something bigger. The fanbase went from passive consumers of celebrity, content, to full-blown armchair detectives overnight. The investigative angle got even juicier when Aaron dug deeper into Brandon's past behavior. Publicly, he had cultivated an image of the flawless athlete, disciplined, loyal, and morally grounded. Privately, however, sources alleged that he had engaged in multiple behaviors that directly contradicted that image. Secret meetings, late-night club appearances, and even cryptic messages sent to influencers, none of which matched the pristine public persona he projected. One insider claimed, "Brandon is a master of optics. He'll say one thing in interviews, but privately, it's a different story entirely." Teyana's influence in this arrangement gave him a playbook for public deception. Aaron's shock wasn't just at the existence of the agreement, but at the sheer scale of the manipulation. Meanwhile, Teyana Taylor wasn't innocent either. The leaks suggested she had orchestrated parts of the agreement to maximize personal gain. Exclusive partnerships, timing of music releases, and even choreographed social media posts all seemed to be part of a larger scheme to control perception. In other words, the Teyana that fans believed they knew, the spontaneous, creative, authentic artist, was intertwined with a meticulously calculated strategy designed to influence not just Aaron, but the public, the media, and potential business partners. Every move, every statement, every appearance had layers of intention behind it, making it almost impossible for an outside observer to distinguish reality from performance. The public reaction has been wild. Social media exploded with shock, disbelief, and outrage. Influencers, podcasters, and even some journalists jumped on the bandwagon, analyzing every clip, every screenshot, and every tweet. Reddit threads are still active, dissecting every nuance. Fans are debating whether this was a betrayal of trust or simply a savvy use of celebrity power. Memes comparing Brandon to a corporate puppet and Teyana to a choreographed mastermind began circulating within hours of the leaks. And through it all, Aaron maintained his silence, letting the storm build while he continued gathering evidence. But it's not just the fans who are reacting. Industry insiders have started weighing in. One anonymous label executive hinted at possible financial repercussions, claiming that sponsors and brand deals could be affected if the truth comes out publicly. These agreements aren't just for show, the executive said. They have real-world consequences, from contracts to reputations to future partnerships. If Aaron goes public with everything he knows, the fallout could be massive. And let's not forget the legal implications. While the agreement was private and technically unenforceable in court, the exposure of certain clauses, payments, or incentives could create ethical dilemmas or trigger investigations into misrepresentation or financial misconduct. Meanwhile, Aaron's circle noticed subtle shifts in his behavior. Posts on social media became scarce. Comments were cryptic. He started carefully choosing interactions and avoiding public discussions about the topic. Friends described him as meticulously quiet but strategically present, as if every action was calculated to maximize the eventual impact of the revelation. One close source said, "He knows the world is watching, and he's letting the suspense build. He's not reacting emotionally. He's analyzing, strategizing, and waiting for the perfect moment." And that moment, according to insiders, was coming soon. The leaks also shed light on the intricacies of the agreement. Clauses dictated public responses, limiting spontaneity and personal expression. Social media activity was monitored. Sponsorship announcements were timed in coordination with personal appearances. The agreement even suggested methods to influence public perception. using subtle language, timed posts, and cross-platform coordination to ensure that the duo's image remained flawless. And the kicker? Brandon reportedly had to maintain an image of moral integrity, while privately adhering to a playbook that contradicted everything he preached in interviews. It's a level of manipulation so detailed that it borders on theatrical genius. Fans quickly began drawing parallels between this scandal and other high-profile celebrity controversies, noting the striking similarity in strategic deception. From social media manipulation to orchestrated appearances, the parallels were impossible to ignore. Aaron's discovery effectively shifted the narrative, from a simple celebrity love triangle to a full-scale examination of the power dynamics, influence, and PR mastery that Teyana and Brandon had been exercising behind the scenes. And the internet responded accordingly, with debates about morality, authenticity, and trust dominating social media feeds. Anonymous sources also claimed that the agreement's clauses were adaptive. If social media engagement dropped or public sentiment shifted, alternative strategies would be activated. This meant that every tweet, every video post, every public appearance was potentially scripted in real time based on fan reactions and media coverage. Aaron realized that the duo wasn't just reacting to the public, they were controlling it, subtly steering perception in a direction favorable to their objectives. And while this may sound like some absurd dystopian narrative, Aaron saw it firsthand, and it changed everything he thought he knew about trust, honesty, and celebrity person as in essence, Pierre had stumbled onto an entire ecosystem of secrecy, manipulation, and perception management that extended far beyond Teyana Taylor and Brandon Jennings. The implications for fans, the media, and the industry were staggering. What started as a private agreement had the potential to reshape public perception, fan loyalty, and even financial partnerships. And as Aaron prepared to reveal more, insiders whispered about the impending storm of social media frenzy, investigative reports, and public reactions so intense that no one would come out untouched. By the time the leaks began circulating more broadly, the public was already in a state of controlled chaos. Clips resurfaced, screenshots were shared widely, and every detail of Teyana and Brandon's public life was scrutinized for hidden meanings. Memes, commentary videos, and analysis threads sprang up across platforms. Social media engagement skyrocketed as fans tried to decode the puzzle Aaron had exposed. And through it all, Aaron remained the silent observer, carefully documenting everything, letting the tension build to an inevitable climax. As we move forward, the fallout of this scandal is only beginning to be understood. Aaron's discovery has set off a chain reaction that could have consequences not just for Teyana and Brandon, but for anyone entangled in their meticulously constructed world. The scandal has evolved from a private secret into a full-blown public spectacle, with fan speculation, industry analysis, and media coverage reaching a fever pitch. And if this video showed the discovery, this video has revealed the machinery behind it, the manipulations, the coded agreements, the strategic deceptions, but the story doesn't end here. The next chapter, the consequences, the legal implications, and the public backlashes where things get truly explosive. Pierre has already seen the blueprint, and now it's a matter of watching how the pieces fall, who takes the hits, and what happens when private scheming collides with public scrutiny. And trust me, the fallout is going to be bigger than anyone could have imagined. The moment Pierre held the secret agreement in his hands, he understood one undeniable truth. This was no longer just a personal betrayal or a celebrity rumor, it was a full-blown scandal waiting to erupt. The magnitude of what he had uncovered wasn't something you could simply scroll past on Instagram or dismiss in a headline. Every clause, every timestamped message, every meticulously orchestrated post had consequences that extended far beyond Teyana Taylor and Brandon Jennings. And now, as whispers of the leaks began to surface, the world was about to see just how deep the rabbit hole went. Public reaction hit like a tidal wave. Social media exploded with speculation, outrage, and disbelief. Fans dissected every old interview, every music video, every game highlight, searching for evidence that aligned with the narrative Aaron had uncovered. Reddit threads exploded with theories ranging from shocking betrayals to corporate-level manipulation of public perception. Memes comparing Brandon to a puppet on a golden leash and Teyana to a choreographed mastermind flooded timelines. Clips resurfaced from old live streams, late-night appearances, and behind-the-scenes footage, each frame suddenly taking on a new, sinister meaning. What once seemed harmless now felt like pieces of an elaborate puzzle, carefully designed to mislead anyone who wasn't paying close attention. Inside the industry, the reaction was equally intense. Sources suggest that brand deals were being reconsidered, partnerships delayed, and sponsorship negotiations quietly paused. One executive, speaking under the condition of anonymity, said, "The moment this agreement came to light, people realized there's more at stake than just fan perception. There are financial consequences, reputational risks, and a whole network of associates who could be impacted. It's a domino effect waiting to happen." Aaron knew this, and that knowledge gave him leverage, not that he intended to use it maliciously. It was simply the reality of uncovering a scheme so intricately designed that its fallout was unavoidable. Fans weren't the only ones weighing in. Analysts, influencers, and podcasters jumped into the narrative, dissecting every possible angle. Some framed the scandal as a betrayal of trust. How could two people manipulate perception so deliberately while fans believed in authenticity? Others interpreted it as a high-level PR strategy, praising the ingenuity while condemning the ethics. Across YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok, video breakdowns, deep dives, and commentary streams went viral almost instantly, with everyone vying to decode the hidden meanings and predict what would happen next. Aaron, as the person who first uncovered the truth, watched quietly, recognizing that this was bigger than any single reveal. It was a full-scale public reckoning. Meanwhile, the personal dynamics between Teyana and Brandon began to unravel in subtle, almost imperceptible ways. Sources indicate that tension behind closed doors has spiked dramatically. Private meetings reportedly became heated, messages were terse, and public appearances felt increasingly forced. One insider told us, "It's like they're walking on a tightrope. Every move is calculated, but the strain is showing. You can see it in small gestures, hesitations, eye contact, the way they frame themselves in photos. It's the pressure of maintaining a perfect illusion when the illusion is falling apart." For Aaron, the revelation was both vindication and a warning. The machinery he had uncovered was fragile, and one misstep could send it all tumbling. The legal and financial ramifications are another layer of this story. While the agreement itself may not hold up in court, the exposure of financial incentives, performance-based clauses, and orchestrated interactions could trigger investigations. Hypothetical scenarios floated in industry circles, potential probes into brand contract violations, questions of misrepresentation, and even breaches of ethics in media appearances. Aaron realized that revealing this wasn't just about social media drama. It could spark real-world consequences that affect careers, contracts, and reputations in a tangible way. Every clause in that agreement, once private, had now become a public ticking time bomb. The ripple effects extended beyond just the duo. Fans began scrutinizing associates, collaborators, and even unrelated public figures, wondering if they were complicit or aware. Social media detectives traced connections between former managers, brand partners, and media outlets, all trying to map the network that had allowed this secret agreement to remain hidden for so long. The result? A sprawling web of speculation, analysis, and outrage that grew exponentially every hour. It wasn't just about Teyana and Brandon anymore, it was about the entire ecosystem that supported their curated image. Aaron's strategy remained deliberate. While fans and media speculated, he carefully documented everything, creating a timeline, compiling messages, and cataloging inconsistencies. One close friend revealed, "He's not impulsive. He's not out for drama. He's preparing for impact. He knows once this hits fully, there's no turning back." And indeed, as the leaks and reactions built momentum, it became clear that the storm was only just beginning. Every media outlet, every influencer, Every fan was now playing catch-up to a narrative that Aaron had uncovered months before anyone else even suspected it existed. Then there's the human side, the emotional fallout. While Aaron maintained a measured, strategic presence, he couldn't ignore the personal betrayal inherent in discovering such a secret. Even if the agreement was businesslike or strategic, the deception cut deep. Trust, loyalty, and authenticity, the foundations of any meaningful relationship, had been manipulated for calculated gain. Aaron's reaction wasn't one of naive heartbreak. It was a controlled recognition of the magnitude of the manipulation and an understanding of the power dynamics at play. Fans might see drama, but Aaron saw design. Social media has amplified every moment of this saga. Influencers with massive followings picked apart old clips. Fan communities dissected timestamps, and analysts created flowcharts connecting messages, appearances, and posts. The level of scrutiny has reached unprecedented heights. One viral thread compared the sequence of events to a political scandal, complete with strategies, influence, and orchestrated messaging. Pierre's revelation had transformed what could have been dismissed as a private dispute into a spectacle of public fascination, drawing attention from every corner of celebrity culture. Meanwhile, whispers of additional secrets began to surface. Anonymous sources hinted at further agreements, undisclosed partnerships, and hidden financial arrangements that could add fuel to the fire. While these claims remain unverified, the pattern is undeniable. Teyana and Brandon had meticulously engineered not just a narrative, but a system designed to maintain control, manage perception, and capitalize on fan engagement. The mere existence of these rumors has added another layer of tension, prompting fans to scrutinize every detail, every post, every interview, searching for evidence of further deception. As the pressure mounts, insiders suggest that the fallout could lead to resignations, missed opportunities, and public apologies, or perhaps something far more dramatic. Imagine the headlines: NBA star's image in question after. Secret agreement leak, or pop star's strategic PR scheme exposed. Potential financial ramifications are equally staggering, with speculation that brands and sponsors could reconsider contracts, partnerships, and promotional deals. For Aaron, the unfolding drama isn't about vengeance, it's about truth, exposure, and accountability. By the end of the day, the implications are clear. This is bigger than celebrity gossip. It's a masterclass in perception management, control, and strategic deception, executed with the precision of a corporate boardroom rather than the spontaneity of personal relationships. Pierre's discovery has forced everyone to reevaluate what they thought they knew, to question authenticity, and to confront the uncomfortable reality that sometimes what you see isn't nearly as simple as it appears. And as the dust begins to settle, one thing remains certain: the story isn't over. Aaron's revelation has triggered a domino effect, and the world is watching closely. Social media remains ablaze, influencers continue to analyze every detail, and fans are glued to every post, every story, and every interview, waiting for the next twist in this unfolding drama. Teyana Taylor and Brandon Jennings are no longer just celebrities, they are central figures in a narrative of calculated manipulation, public perception, and strategic secrecy. Aaron's role in all this cannot be overstated. He isn't just a bystander. He's the catalyst, the one who unveiled the hidden blueprint, the one holding the receipts that exposed the meticulous orchestration behind what everyone assumed was authentic. And now, as the story spreads, as fans react, and as the media amplifies every detail, the world is forced to confront a question that no one saw coming. In a world of curated appearances and strategic deception, can anyone really trust what they see? And with that question hanging in the air, the stage is set for what promises to be one of the most dramatic, controversial, and closely watched celebrity scandals in recent memory. The fallout, the consequences, and the public reckoning are just beginning, and Pierre is at the center of it all, holding the truth that could change everything. So, what do you think really happened behind the scenes? Was this secret agreement a clever strategy, a betrayal of trust, or something even darker that we haven't seen yet? Aaron Pierre uncovered a story that nobody was ready for, exposing layers of manipulation, secrecy, and calculated deception that could change everything we thought we knew about Teyana Taylor and Brandon Jennings. But the big question remains, will the truth ever fully come out? Or will the orchestrated narrative keep spinning while fans are left piecing together the fragments? We want to hear what you think. Did Aaron do the right thing by uncovering the agreement, or should some secrets stay buried? How much of what we see online is real, and how much is carefully constructed behind the scenes? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because your theories, your insights, and your outrage are part of this story too, and if you want to stay on top of every shocking twist, every leak, and every revelation before the mainstream media catches up, make sure you hit that like button. Smash subscribe and turn on notifications. Trust me, this story is far from over, and you won't want to miss what happens next. The truth is out there, and we're bringing it straight to you.